Hey, you want to shortcut 60 years, 60 plus years in 20 minutes or less so that you can be successful? Everybody's looking for a shortcut. Everybody wants to get there quicker and get there faster, and everybody wants to be successful. I'm betting that you want to too. So I'm going to share with you today, if you stay around 20 minutes or less, the 62 years of experiences that I've had in order for you to get successful. Now, I'm Dr. Chonta Haynes. If you have not met me, but if I'm reintroducing myself to you, welcome. I help queenpreneurs to reimagine, reinvent, and reframe to the next level. I want you to go to the next level. Now, do you have to be a female to do that? Absolutely not. Because today we're talking both personal as well as professional. I'm going to give you three things that you need to do in order to be successful. And that's based on all of my years of experience. That's based on all of the degrees. And I've got at least six degrees. And I say I don't quite have as many degrees as a thermometer, but I'm getting close. So all that learning, all that reading, all of that knowledge, all of those experiences that I've had, and I've had several, so check out my story, you are going to get in 20 minutes or less. So, top three things. I'm going to start with number three. I'm going to work backwards for you. Number three, you've got to execute. Execute. That means you need to take action. That means the to-do list that you have, you need to get it done. Not just because you wrote it down. If you write it down, oh, that's great. But until you actually do it and check it off, it's not going to make you successful. Now, I just came from a women's conference. I absolutely loved, had a great time, got an opportunity to speak to some women. And this time we were talking about the biblical financial personalities, which you can find an overview of, but I did it differently for them. I coached them. I specifically asked, what are you going to do differently? Now that you have taken, I gave them one tip of what they need to do in order to remove the struggle from money management. I don't know if that's your issue, but we all have an issue in many instances of not being able to steward well what it is that God has given us. We were talking about finances, and I said, what one thing are you going to do now differently because you heard me? Revelation gives you wings. It gives you freedom. It allows you to move forward, but you've got to put feet to your faith so that you can walk victoriously. You've got to do the action. The Bible says that faith without works is dead. You're absolutely right. So when it comes to our faith, we need to do that. When it comes to it being in business, we need to do that too. When it comes to relationships, we've got to put things in place that we learned. We've got to execute. How does that practically look? In business, if you know that you need to do A, B, and C in order to win sales, in order to be profitable, then you've got to sell. You've got to have a product to sell or a service to sell. You've got to then contact the people. You've got to fulfill on your promise. Those are action items that need to take place. Otherwise, people are not going to, one, give you money and pay you for whatever that service is. And two, they're not going to come back or refer you to other people. So if you want to be successful in business, you've got to execute. What about relationships? I'm glad that you asked. Many instances, we find that we have the wrong people at the table for us. We might have called them friends when they were really associates. They might have hurt us. They might have disappointed us. And we forgive because that's what we're commanded to do. But it does not mean that we allow them to injure us again. So what do? We say we need to put boundaries in place. We might read books, Henry Cloud's book, Never Go Back. We might read others that said Necessary Endings. He has several of them out there, and there are plenty. But there are other things that we need to do, and we say we need to put that boundary in place when we do. But then when that person comes and we keep moving that boundary, it wasn't a standard any longer. A standard is what you are willing to sacrifice for. And if in your life it's not showing up that way, it's really not your standard. You haven't put the boundary in place. No is a whole sentence, and you can do that. Yes. And we don't have to continue to support our adult children if they're not being responsible. At some point, they need to straighten up and fly right. Right? All right. So that's the personal side. That's the professional side. Faith. We might say, hey, I want to be more spiritually mature. Oh, it sounds great. And we put an action item. Our execution says, I'm going to read my Bible every day. I'm going to study Hebrew. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to learn that. I'm going to make sure I'm praying on a regular basis, praying for my business, praying for my family, praying for my friends, praying for myself. If you don't execute on that, you won't see the growth, right? So the number three thing that you have to do is execute. So you're asking, what is number two? Because if I actually do those things, how do I get there? What's the step before it? Well, the step before it is you've got to have strategy, right? Many times we think that we already know how to do something and we don't. We don't intentionally do it. We don't know what the intention should be, so we don't know what to write down to execute. We need strategy. One of the things that I assist women in doing, those that are in business, is making sure that the strategy aligns up with the goal that you want. Well, if you have a goal of saying, I want to speak on more stages, what are you doing in order to get there? All right, well, how am I going to get on those stages? There are certain things that I need to do, execute in order for me to be there. If I want to make more money, there's certain things I need to do. It might be I need to go back to school. It might be I need to position myself in such a way that I am recognized for the gifts and talents that God has given me. What is the strategy that's going to get me there? And guess what? In many instances, is that you need a coach, you need a mentor, you need someone else who has been where you want to go to tell you how to get there. They're going to get you there quicker than the school of hard knocks will ever get you there. All right. If they have already blazed the trail, they have already taken the pathway, they've cleared it out for you, then there's no reason for you to struggle and strain and stress over something that someone else has already done. In many instances, we try to reinvent the wheel when we don't have to. Hey, the wheel was already made. Why try to make it now square? It doesn't work, right? So you need to get strategy, but that means that you're going to need someone to go along with you. Why? Because you don't know your blind spots. Sometimes people come to me and they say, hey, I want to speak on stages. And in all actuality, that is not their strong suit. They're better in writing. They're better in posting. They're better in doing something different other than standing up. Because one, they get nervous. Sometimes they're sweating bullets and they're not energetic enough. They're not exciting enough because how many of you know have experienced the fact that you've had somebody that was just really, really boring? They might have had something good to say, but you weren't listening. All right. So if we're not articulating well, then speaking may not be the thing for us. And it's okay. Excuse me. It's okay if that is not our area of expertise. It's better for us to operate in our strengths. And how are we going to do that? We have the right strategy that goes along with our personality because the person that was mentoring us or coaching us has seen that gift in us and they then help us identify it so that we can then now have action items, some execution that we need to do. And when we execute the strategy that they have given us, we will see success. Oh, that was good enough already. I know. But that was just number two. And I told you 20 minutes or less. I'm giving you 62 years worth of wisdom. I've coached for other companies. I've coached other coaches in order for them to get to where they need to go. Other business owners. I've had the opportunity. God uses me in a way that He gives me direct downloads in the midst of a strategy session or in the midst of a session. And I'm going, do this, do that, do that. Why? Because we ask for God's wisdom, His knowledge, His understanding. And when we're vessels willing to receive it, He gives it to us. Now, I will tell you, as an aside, often they'll say, can you repeat that? And I say, no, glad it's recorded. Why? Because if God has given it, it doesn't mean that I've already pre-thought of it. Sometimes you need a new strategy. Sometimes you need a personal, customized strategy. In many instances, the strategy that you use is what's going to then mean your success or your failure. So don't go it alone. But you're probably asking, all right, those two are really good. That's going to get me success. And I understand where you're coming from. What's number one? You got to have vision. That means that you've got to know where you're going. You've got to have an idea in mind, the goal in mind, the end in mind before you begin. Any strategy that you utilize that did not take into account where you're trying to lead people is not going to get you there, or where you're trying to lead yourself. So if you're looking at finances, if you don't have an idea of, hey, I want to be financially free, well, what does that mean? We need to have a clear vision. I want to be out of debt within the next 5 years. Okay, I've got a vision. Now, what's the strategy in order to get there? Well, what debts do you have? All right, let me identify those debts. How can I pay them off quickly? All right, then this is my execution plan. You see how that works? What about the purpose for your life? God gives you the vision for where He wants to take you. That means that you're in prayer with Him. That means that you're dreaming. That means that you're allowing Him to download to you. You're in a receiving posture. If it's a coach, that coach is going to help you divinely align so that you're lining up with what God has called you to do, with the strengths that He's given you, with the talents that He's given you, with all of that that is out there. He's giving that. And so a good coach, the right mentor for you is going to be listening to God to make sure that they're seeing you through the eyes of the cross and helping you see yourself through the eyes of the cross as well, for whatever it is, personal or business. Your business should be the best option on the planet. Huh? And those that are called to you, you should be findable for them. Why? Because God says, my sheep hear my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. Someone is looking for you. You've got to know where you're going. And the way you find that out is you get in touch with the master, the one that created you. See, on this channel, I say I help queens to reimagine, reinvent, and reframe to the next level. But there are 4 pillars that I deal with. I talk about finances. You will hear me talk about finances quite often, because I believe if we're broke, busted, and disgusted just like the rest of the world, why would they want what we have? That's what I believe. And I believe that God's principles and His promises that are in His word, if we obey them, doesn't matter who you are, if you follow the principles, they will work for you. But you've got to work the word in your finances and in every aspect of your life. Personally, I believe if you're looking to God for what He wants you to do within your family, what He wants you to do within your community, what He wants you to do within the world, if you know that vision, He will then give you the strategy. He will send the right people that would be able to lead and guide you appropriately. And when they lead and guide you, you're going to take those words that they tell you, those strategies that they give you, and then you take action on that. Oh, the sky's the limit for what you're going to be able to do. In business, the same thing happens. In my Queenpreneur Accelerator program, we're sitting in the room and I'm saying, what is the problem that you have? Let me give you a solution. Let me give you a strategy. I'm asking the Lord, help me with this issue right now, because this person you called, you gave them a kingdom assignment. You said there was more for them to do. You gave them something that is going to bless the rest of the world, because you created them to be a blessing as well as to bless them. And because you have done that, Lord, I need to hear from you. And when I hear from you, I'm going to share that with them. And that strategy came directly from you for such a time as this. Now, I've given them action items. When they put it in practice, then we're going to see the results come to fruition. I've seen so much that has happened, whether it's a mindset shift that's adjusting your crown, whether it's a clarity on who it is that you're serving so that you go from less than $200,000 to over $1 million in a very short period of time. I've seen that happen with the ladies in my group. I've seen it happen even in coaching for others, that they are selling their best-selling books and they become an Amazon number one bestseller, not because they just wanted that, but because they needed to disseminate that information for others to be freed. When you really care about the people that you're serving, the strategies that God gives you make sense. The strategies that He gives in the hands of those that He's called to serve you and to help you to move further, faster, those coaches and those mentors, they will align with God's will for you. And when they give you those things to do and you actually put them in practice, success is the only thing that can happen. And it's according to God's definition of success. and it'll probably line up with yours too. So vision, then strategy, then execution is how you shrink the time, get the bag, and move forward in success. Whether you're leading others in business, whether you're overcoming obstacles or challenges in your personal life, whether you're getting your finances together, or you're making sure that you're divinely aligned and you're spiritually mature and you're growing in God, all of these things are more than possible. I'm Dr. Chonta Haynes with Heart to Heart Truth Ministries. I'm helping you put feet to your faith so that you can walk victoriously. And I'm also making sure that queens are going to reimagine the future. They're reinventing themselves and they're reframing their stories so that they go to the next level. God bless you. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your week.